Hello my dear students, my dear viewers, greetings to everyone. I'm Shadrach Swiller from Classroom TZ, and today I'm happy to share with you the concept of how to write an essay writing. The main reason of discussing this, as we know, in Form 2 and Form 4, Section C questions, all of them are essay questions. In civics, question number 10 Form 2, and history question number 10 Form 2, it is essay question. In Form 4, Section B, all those two questions you're supposed to attempt are essay questions, and each question carries 15 marks. So today we're going to check how to get those 15 marks. Essay writing, this is English concept. It's come from the concept of there in English skills, language skills, we have the language skill called the writing skill, and in writing skill we are learning about how to write an essay. So today we will go somehow to English, but not deeper in connection to history. The concept we're going to discuss today on how to write an essay is basically going to be applied in writing historical essay, answering history questions. Not all of what we're going to discuss here you can apply in other subjects, although all subjects, if you are asked to write an essay, it are the following parts we're going to discuss today. Some part, those main part, introduction, main body, conclusion, but not all inside of every party are necessary to other subjects. So what we're going to check today from A to Z is all about how to write an essay in history subject. At the beginning, we should have an example of the question. This example of our question, assess 6 causes of Maji War. This example of our question, we're going to use this question as an example, and then our essay part starting there. Every essay has the 3 parts here. Those are underlined and they have numeral numbers. I bolded and it has numeral numbers. Number 1 is introduction, number 2 it is main body, and number 3 it is conclusion. These are 3 parts of the essay. Every essay it should have 3 parts: introduction, main body, and conclusion. So let's start to check one category to another. In introduction in history should have the following things. Number 1, definition of the key term. At the beginning of your every essay, make sure you define the key term of that question. When we say the key term, we refer the main part of the question. The question is meaningless without that part. Example here, our key term is define Maji War, so term Maji War. In that way, if I will cancel the word Maji War, what am I getting in the question? The question loses its meaning. We can't understand what the question wants. So in order to know the key term of the question, you should try to find what part of the question it killed the meaning of the question. Example, even if I say, let me take out the word 6, still the question has meaning. I say 6 causes of Maji War. And also if I avoid the word maybe a CSEE, if I say 6 causes of Maji War, still you are getting the meaning. We are talking about what led the Maji War to happen. So number 1 is definition of the key term. Number 2 of the definition of key term in history will tell us the time when that event occurred. And that is where we see the connection between history and mathematics. Some part there in Form 1, there is a concept how history relate to the other subjects. History relate to the other subjects like mathematics, and how mathematics is connected to history in this issue of numbers, time, when the event occurred. All event in history, they have the time when that event occurred. None of the action in history does not have time. That's why you remember in Form 1, in sources and importance of history, you told how to determine date. The issue of age, period, millennium, duration, all those were the cases take you on how you can determine date. So you tell us when the event occurred. So in case of Majimaji War, you tell us when Majimaji War occurred. Actually, we know it is 1905 to 1907. After time, tell us place where that event occurred. All historical events, again in history, they have the place where it happened. None of the event occurred from nowhere, meaning the sky or any other planet, although all places, the place, all areas are the place. So here we mean where that event actually occurred. And that is where we're getting the connection of history and another subject again, that is geography. History is connected to geography in the case of location, in the case of the place. When you refer to the meaning of geography, the studying of natural and the man-made physical features of the world. Those natural features or man-made features is all about environment. And the environment, that is where human activities took place. So you should have the area where that event occurred. Again, we need to draw maybe sometime map. So we're referring to geography. So in connection to the example of our question, here the place we are going to say it is happened in southern part of Tanganyika. Southern part of Tanganyika, that is geography, it is a location. When you put in the map, that is pure geography. So while you are learning history, make sure you have the concept or you have an idea of geography, especially in drawing map. Please, I'm requesting you make sure you know how to draw map. There are so many questions, they need you to draw map, or they are given, the question is in map format, and you ask to show the location in that map. So make sure you have an idea how to draw the map. So come back to our essay, the place, still we are in introduction. And lastly, not the lastly, letter D, it is tell us who involved in that event or in that action. The action is war. Then who were the member of that war? So tell us who were the participants of that war. Refer the meaning of history. History, the records of human what? Past event. So we need to know who that human. Not all humans, although all that man, we done the same actions. Yes, all of us were humans, but we have different actions. So tell us, example, we are discussing about the Majimaji War. Are all the people involved in Majimaji War in Tanganyika? All the people involved in Majimaji War in the world? So tell us specific. When you are talking about the Majimaji War, who were there in Majimaji War? You're talking about which people? And lastly, it is example. If you have example in your introduction, you may provide. So here an example, not all introduction they have example, some of introduction they cannot have example. But here you can provide example in the case of participants. Example of the tribes involved in Majimaji War. Those tribes in southern part of Tanganyika. Wangido, Matumbi, Yao, Ngoni. They will mention them as the example in your essay. Again, one thing to remember, we have this saying as teachers, in order to make things easy. While you are writing an essay, do not assume you are writing to someone who knows what you are writing. Write thing that even someone who is coming from maybe science field is expert in physics, but when he is going to read your essay, he can understand this is Majimaji War, or these are the causes of Majimaji War. So please try to, we are saying you are just educating the marker, and not marker start to interpret what you are writing. Write in simple language, write in very understandable way to convince, to educate the one who is reading that the boy or the girl is understanding the concept. So that is introduction. One thing I forgot to say is to state it before. Now in this time, I'm telling you the content, how to put that content. And later, here we have essay writing. Here we're going to check the sample of that essay, how to put that in structure. So that is introduction. And after introduction, we are actually going to the main body. So before going to main body, we're supposed to have something called the link sentence. Link sentence, this is the sentence that demarcates introduction and the main body. It show or it mark the end of introduction and beginning of main body. And actually, introduction is a part of a question. We are saying we are taking some part of the question to put as your introduction. Actually, it show the following were the causes for Majimaji War. the following were the causes of Majimaji War. So you can have the word the following were from here where we are putting the causes of Majimaji War. So here at the end it can change. The following were the effects, the following were the types, the following were the advantages, the following were dash dash, depend the nature of the question. So link sentence actually is connected to the question. When you fail to write link sentence properly, then we assume what you wrote down the wrong part of the question. Example, the question asked you causes, and unfortunately you, instead of putting the word causes, you put the effect of Majimaji War. You are out of. The question asked you the effects, and so unfortunately you put the following are the causes. The question asked you effects, you are writing causes. Or the question asked you causes, and you are writing the following are the effects. They are saying out of the point OP. We are putting X end of the marking. So please write the link sentence that is relating or is connected to the question. Number 2 is the main body. Here in the main body we are saying the main part of the essay. Here you are starting provide your concept, what you understood from the class, what you understood from your teacher, how far you know about that concept. Then the main body include the following. Number 1, main body it has paragraph. Paragraph means a number of sentences that explaining your concept. Paragraph it created by number of sentences, and these sentences at least no less than 3, 4, 5, maybe up to 6 or 8 if you have a lot of words, but not exceed 8. If you exceed more than 8, it's changing the form from paragraph, then it's becoming a passage, and the essay is not in the form of passage. We are starting with paragraph. And please avoid to have single line paragraph. Maybe depend the level of your class. From 1, from 2 we can understand you, but if you are from 4, single line paragraph is not sounding. It's showing you are weak in understanding of that concept. So main body have paragraph. Number 2, how are we getting this paragraph? Is from the title of the point. So we have the concept called the title of the point. Example, I provided this example of the title of the point. Maybe depending to our question, the causes of Majimaji War, one of the causes it can be brutality of Germans. Germans were harsh to Africans, then Africans reacted back to fight against Germans. So this is the title of the point. After the title of the point, that is where we're going to the main part. After the title of the point is the explanation of that title. Tell us how do you know. Tell us the connection between brutality of Germans and the causes of Majimaji War. How that is the cause. That is where you are applying your skills. So if you was not listening to a teacher, here you'll start rotating the bush. What do I mean here? Simply like this. All of us we are aware about the scenario of road accident. This is very easy to understand. Scenario of road accident. And currently maybe we have high level for border accidents. Then if you'll be asked why this border died, you say because of accident. What caused the accident? Then you'll explain what caused the accident if you saw why the border was there on the bike. So maybe you can say the border was very speedy. Because of that speed, he failed to control the bike. And then unfortunately, he hit the truck. Then he died. So there is a connection between speed and the death of border. How speed caused the death? Speed caused death of border because border failed to control the bike. So vice versa, if border he was not in speed, maybe he can got small injury or he can avoid the accident. He will be able to control the bike. I'm giving you a scenario that explanations of high speed relate to the causes of the death of border. Now you have the concept of brutality of Germans. And remember, this is a sample example. Not all of questions will be brutality of Germans, brutality of Germans. You will apply your other skills depending on the questions. I can ask you the cause of WW1. I can ask you the effect of ongoing migration, the effect of interaction. So we have different points. What I want you to get is make sure you are able to explain the explanations that are connected to the main body to the question. Brutality of Germans. You may write a good title of the point, brutality of Germans, but there inside the kid is explaining the brutality out of the context. We want to see the meaning of that brutality and how that brutality caused the Maji War. Because of why brutality, Africans were exploited, Africa were tortured, and Africa were tired. They said we want to be free out of that brutality. Try to connect dots. Yes, this language. Try to connect dots. This and this, this and this, and at the end, Maji War. So you can have all of them good. Paragraph, title of the point, but if you lack explanation, it indicates number one, you are weak in that concept and you may get low marks. So in order to get correct or good marks, make sure you explain deeply, and that explanation connected the question. Otherwise, you'll go OP out of. That is where you can see one boy or one answer sheet. It is full of words, almost maybe 6 points, but he or she got 2 over 15, 3 over 15. Why? Yes, the structure of the essay is not a problem. That's the part also of marks, because you wrote in a good structure. But part B is what inside of. That is necessary. So if you find someone almost like 2 pages, but 3 marks over 15, the problem there is content. Structure is correct, tick, but the content is out of the question. So mind your explanation. From there, we can have the example. If you appoint it as example, you can provide show example of the brutality. How far Germans were brutality. Example, they raped meaning the mothers, they raped the sisters, they raped the Africans. That's the example. And from there, you can provide the conclusion line. In case of example, some questions, they are starting, they say dialect, by using 6 examples. By using examples. If you found a question, they said by using examples, my friend, make sure in every point you have an example. But some of questions is they don't have that sentence by using example. It's just a question like this. I said the cause of Maji War. I don't need the example, but if you have an example, it can add the marks in your essay. So if you have the concept, that concept you have example, you may put it. There is a difference between the one who provide the example and the one who don't have an example. This example just like attachment to improve your answers, to attract the markers, like you know the concept. Just like you are going to apply the work, one of the XSE skills. He or she bilingual, you have single language. So we will consider the one who have more than one language. So example is applied as something to attract the markers. And lastly, you may have conclusion line. This conclusion line will mean try to, at the end of every paragraph, put something that say, then that is how Maji occurred. Then that is how Maji occurred, because of that single point you explained. It's not necessary, does not avoid reduce any marks, but if you include it, it seems nice. You have real knowledge of writing an essay. And last part is conclusion. Last part is conclusion. Here we're going to conclude, or we're going to finish our essay. Please, here in conclusion, we don't have the link sentence. We don't have the link sentence between the main body and the conclusion. So we have only one link sentence between the introduction and the main body. So in conclusion, first of all, we have the paragraph, but that paragraph is how it's written. That paragraph is written by starting words like this. You may have the word like generally at the beginning of your sentence. Conclusively, hence, thus, therefore, by concluding, and the others that donate, you are going to finish the work. So you don't need to maybe to put any symbol showing that this is the end of. The word speaks itself. We are going to understand this is the end of essay. So try to use those words. So the big question is, what content are we putting in conclusion? To my experience, I experienced this problem a lot of time. You may find a student, good introduction, good main body, good handwriting, and again, my dear friends, make sure you work on your handwriting. Very, very important. Make sure you work on your handwriting. So you may find the kid have everything good. Problem starting in conclusion. Many conclusion they like to apply. Students, you like to apply, you as a student, is the following where, and you may find someone said the following were the causes of Majimaji War. Grammatically, totally wrong. I mean, not grammatically, we say semantic, totally wrong. We don't see the meaning there. Grammatically, it's correct. The following were arrangement of words also, but in meaning, we don't see the following were there. When you apply the word the following, we want to see things coming down. And then you, according to you, when you say the following, you assume those you mentioned above. So it is vice versa. So that is sign showing the kid is out of English skills. And the others, they may be the right correct. All of the above were. Yes, it is correct. All of the above were the causes Majimaji. It's correct. But that is not kind of conclusion we want. In a conclusion, put in your head, we are not summarizing what we explained above. That is very important. We are not summarizing what explained above. In a conclusion, we want to see your ideas, your opinion. According to what you stated above, what are you saying? And remember, while you are using, while you are applying or you are writing your conclusion, avoid to use a personal pronoun. I'm concluding by saying I am. Avoid the use of those words. So you may say by generally, and then come back to the content. The content should be example. Simply, if the question is all about causes, then actually there is the effect of that event. So tell us one of the effects of that event. The event is Majimaji War, and the above you explained or you stated the causes of that Majimaji War in Tanganyika, and tell us maybe one major effect of that event. Again, vice versa. You asked what were the effects of Majimaji War. Try to be smart. Change it. Tell us in conclusion what was one major cause of Majimaji War. In history, actually, our essay is either causes or Majimaji, causes or effects or advantages or disadvantages. So within these four concepts, try to switch depending on what you asked. You ask the causes, tell us effects. You ask the effects, tell us causes. You ask the question in terms of problem. Maybe the question is all about problems. Simply, if the question is the problem center, tell us the solution of avoiding that problem. Think out of the box like that. Don't try to avoid. Don't be with that narrow mind or thick head. Try to think big. So that is how we are writing conclusion. Please avoid the summarization of the above stated points. And also, while you are writing that correct conclusion, you don't need to explain again 5 points as a conclusion, or 3 points or 6 points as a conclusion. We always pick one major, depending on the question. If it's effect, we are picking one major effect, and you explain deeply how that effect occurred because of that what you stated above. Are we there? I'm sure we are together. So by doing so, you are out of writing essay. Then here I have example of an essay. This is the example of an essay. I pick one question from one of the NECTA and the current NECTA questions from 4. This is from 4. So if you're from 2, this is from 4. But also you may apply the same skills while you are writing from 2. I tried to put it in rolled paper as an answer sheet in order to show you some of things. So this is the question. Colonial transport and communication networks affected Africa. Justify this statement by giving 6 points. Justify this statement by giving 6 points. So we have the explanations and the question need us to justify. We are starting again. In the introduction, we said we are defining key term. So make sure you find what is the key term of that question. The key term here, according to this question, it is colonial transport and communication. In short, sometimes called colonial infrastructure. This question is coming from the colonial economy topic. That is the topic number 3 in form 3. So you need to tell us what the meaning of colonial infrastructure. There is a number of infrastructure built by colonialists, where in the colonies, when during colonial period. And example, I provided some of examples here. We have Germany, Central Railway, British, Uganda to Kenya, Kenya to Uganda. These are examples of infrastructure. And this is introduction. This is just the introduction. This is the introduction, and after introduction we have main body. Before main body we have link sentence. This is the link sentence. The following, this one, the following was how Africa affected, and it should not be a repetition of was. It should be the following was how Africa affected by colonial transport and the communication. So after writing that, this word should be eliminated. This word should be eliminated. So after writing that, we are going to the main body. If you note something, always I'm skipping this gap. No, this one. From here up to here. This gap here, I'm skipping. This is the paragraph. So actually, the first sentence, the first word of the first sentence in your essay, that is actually the definition, should have the space between margin line and at the beginning, and should be repeated in every beginning of the paragraph. So the first paragraph, general, this is the first paragraph, introduction and the link sentence. But there we have two things: introduction ending there, and link sentence starting here. After there, we are going to the starting of main body. The first point, it is integration of African economy into capitalist system. So here, tell us how this point it relating or is act as the effect of Africa, how Africa affected that way. So you should explain the connection of that type of the point and the question. Failure to do so, again, you're out of the content. So I try to explain like this. The economy of Africa became part of capitalist system through the use of transport and communication, by transporting the raw material from Africa and importing manufactured goods to Africa from Europe. So by using import and export, we are affected, and our economy became part of world economy. And if you have example, as I brought the example, Africa produced the cotton and the sisal and the rubber and coffee, but we sent all them to Europe, and we received the manufactured goods by using infrastructure. Number two, it is creation of dependent economy. Again, I'm repeating. Tell us how transport and communication created the dependent economy. Transport and communication created dependent economy. As I stated, the colonial infrastructure facilitated the situation of import and export. Under such circumstances, made African to own what they are not producing and produce what they were not owning. So we produce the cotton, but we didn't own the cotton. We became to own the clothes. We own these clothes. Do we produce the clothes? No. Those clothes were sent or were imported from Europe. So we have raw material, but we cannot consume those raw material directly until we depend from Europeans. What made this dependent? It is transport. If there were no transport, we can produce in Africa, and you can find the means to make manufactured goods in Africa. But because of the support of infrastructure, we became independent. I'm trying to explain this to find the connection between title of the content, title of the point, and the content relating to the question. Uneven economic development. Also, this is another point. Colonial infrastructure led the uneven development. How? Because some part they received the good service through transport and communication, and the other party left behind because they don't have facility of transport and communication. Spread of European culture. It led to the rural-urban migration. Intensification of African resources, exploitation of African resources. And down here I have the conclusion. Generally, colonial transport and communication created disunity among Africa. So I try to find another new effect out of those I explained as a major conclusion. Or also I can say how that colonial transport and communication built. You can say generally colonial transport, it was built in the support of Africans, where the laborers were paid low wages by Europeans. So that is how we are writing our essay. Very, very important. So down here I attached some of cases here down. We are saying things we are not supposed to write in essay. Don't in essay writing. Not underline a point in your essay. Some students, they used to underline points as they said, to show emphasis, markers to observe their point, not necessarily to underline. Always I'm saying, if you know, you know. You don't know, you don't know. Don't try to force. So when you are underlining in language, it shows another interpretation. Always we are using underlining, line to underline the concept of the sentence if it is heading, or to show more, very, very important. So in essay this is not allowed, because you already have the question there as a heading, so you cannot have all those heading while you have a paragraph. Another, do not write your point in capital letters. Again, in emphasis, kids, they used to write capital letters, the all part of the title of the point, not necessary. Do not use numbers, stars, dots, and bullets to show your points. Some kids, they assume maybe they will not, as markers, we will not see the points, so you used to put maybe Roman 1 point, Roman 2 point, or A, B, C, D point, or those dash dash. Not necessarily to use those dash. Avoid the use of personal pronoun, as I said at the beginning. In your essay, you're not the owner of that concept you are explaining the above. So not use I, am is not allowed. Stop writing this kind of conclusion, all of the above, as I said before. One thing again to add there, it is tenses. All historical informations are in past tense. Put in your head. All your essay, depending on the question, should be in past tense. Very, very few concepts you can apply present tense, but actually we don't have future tense in history. We don't have. Or as we say, history is the record of past events, record of the past events. So if we recorded the past events, we're explaining past event by using past tense. Maybe the concept of current issues, African international affairs, but still some of issues in African international affairs is in past tense. If you explain the concept of UN, information of UN from the beginning, this past event, formation of UN. Maybe very, very few concepts, but most, almost like 90% of the concept in history should be in past tenses. Those are the cases I wanted to share with you, my dear students. If you have any words, comments, question, please do not hesitate to communicate with me there in the comment section. I will rush to reply your comments and to solve your doubt. Thank you for watching Classroom TZ. I'm Shadraki Swila.